Hey guys, it's Miss Thurston, and I wanted to apologize. When I first assigned this close reading number two, I did not realize that the review that they did with point of view was a little wonky. So I want to give you a little bit of insight to the review for point of view in order to help you complete close reading assignment number two for you. So sorry it's a little bit late, but I'm actually going to also extend the due date for close reading number two so that you're not penalized. So we're going to go over the answers for the first part of close reading number two. That way you have a little bit of help. So let's talk about the first few answers for close reading number two. We know that close reading number two is told from the perspective of Isabella. And Isabella is our main character. Don't you just love the name Isabella? Isabella, since it's told from the perspective of Isabella, that makes it the first person point of view. So we know that it is first person point of view. Since Isabella, oops, and I spelled Isabella correctly. There's no two L's. Isn't that terrible? Since Isabella is telling our story, it is told from the first person point of view. Now, this is where some of the um, confusion for this narrative came from. And I can't move. Of course, they're not going to let me move myself, but they can let me shrink. There we go, shrink myself. Um, this is where some of the confusion about this table came from because they're expecting a little bit different words than from our notes that we took last week. So let me just give you the answers. That way you can fill out this table and it not be that big of a deal. Because the meat that I really want you to put the effort into, are slides 2 and 3, or pages 2 and 3 of this assignment, because that's what a close reading is about, is analyzing the perspective. This identifying perspective, that's a 7th grade skill. Analyzing perspective, that's the 8th grade skill. I told you that now that you're in the 8th grade, we're taking it up a level. This is the upper level. Page 2 is the upper level. Page 1 is the 7th grade level. So, what they're asking first person is the I perspective. The I perspective, and the narrator is the main character. So, this one should be main character, is the main character, and uses I, me, us, or our. Okay. The second person is the you perspective. See where they're going with that? The narrator, they say the narrator is unknown. And again, I'm trying to write with a mouse. Why won't they let me type with this dumb program? Unknown. They say the narrator is unknown with this. Maybe I can add a text box. There we go. Unknown. Ta-da! They say the air narrator is unknown because remember, the whole point of second person point of view is to draw you, the reader, into the story. Um, Third person perspective, the whole point of the third person perspective, again, is to, is called the camera like perspective. Third person objective is camera like. In other words, it shows you everything. Remember, we talked about the police report, and this is like the movies or TV. Remember, movies or TV don't get into emotions unless you see somebody crying or making out with somebody because you don't really see the emotions. They just show the facts and only the facts. You don't see the internal processes. Remember, internal processes is what makes something either limited or omniscient. It's all about internal processes. So objective is that camera like. They can only show you what's in front of them. So that's why the narrator is unknown as well for this one. So I'm going to draw an arrow. By virtue of it being third person, we don't know who the narrator is. It's somebody outside of the story. And last but not least, of course, is our next is third person limited. We call that the limited to one perspective. Well, you know what I'm saying. It's called limited to one. Limited to one perspective. And again, the narrator is unknown because, again, it's somebody not in the story, it's not a character in the story. And since we only see one person's thought processes, again, those internal struggles, decisions, feelings, observations, that's why it's called the limited to one perspective. That key being one, third person limited, one. Omniscient is again, the all knowing perspective. Third person omniscient, all knowing. Do we know who the narrator is? No. Narrator is unknown, but because we see more than one person's internal processes, feelings, observations, thoughts, internal processes, that is why it's all knowing. It's more than one. And they do give you some good examples here. So that is why I wanted to go ahead and um, that is why I wanted to go ahead and give you the answers to these first few pages because this box was a little bit difficult. They called it some different things than we did, and I had not realized that when I first assigned this way back at the beginning of the week. It hadn't dawned on me. So again, this was just a very quick help to get this assignment completed. Again, the real meat of this is pages 2 and 3.
Good afternoon, students and staff. All afternoon.
Sorry about that. That was an announcement that came on the intercom. So I hope that you all have a wonderful day. And if you have any other questions about this assignment, I'll be happy to answer them.